Yeah, here we go.
Chicka, chicka.
Yeah.
Kill Bill and Rev. We don't suck.
Baby boy, you stay on my mind, fulfill my fantasy, fulfill my fantasy. I think about you all the time. I see you in my dreams, in my dream.
I gotta say, your impression of Sean Paul is just fucking mwah, spot on. Never heard anything like that in my life. I thought that you were Sean Paul.
I am actually. What did Sean Paul contribute to that song? Okay, like besides just repeating what Beyonce is saying in a funny ass like cadence.
I think that you're just being a hater, man. I think that's what brought the song all together. I would say, what did Beyonce contribute to that song? You know?
Besides sing it, yeah.
Besides sing it, yeah. But that's stupid.
Yeah.
Singing's stupid.
I agree.
Sean Paul was the best. Okay, was he Sean the Paul?
No, it's just Sean Paul as far as I remember.
But he'd be like Sean the Paul.
Yeah, but maybe he's just like, you know, he's like, fuck, I wish I was a 3-syllable man.
Sean the Paul. Si me gozalin. I don't really care what people say. I don't really want for him to do. I don't want to wear it like glue. And I remember too.
Did he have a
if
verse?
We're gonna give him then that. What?
I wonder, did he have a verse on Baby Boy?
I sure hope so, bro. I really hope he did.
Because all I remember is Beyonce singing and then Sean Paul, like, almost like mocking her, like the SpongeBob mocking meme, you know? Like, to you and my dad. Like, I don't know what. I liked it. I thought it was like, at the time, I thought like cool. But now that I'm listening, when I hear it again, I think to myself, why? You know?
I'm looking at the lyrics for Temperature by Sean Paul. And it says,
good song.
The gal dim Selassie, Sean da Paul. That's what it says, like duh, like DA, like, you know, because
right.
It's an era. But then he says, well, woman, the way your time cold, I want to be keeping you warm. I got the right temperature for shelter you from the storm. Oh, Lord. Got the right. That sounds so hard when he's like, got the right tactics. Just goes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, can we just sing Sean Paul lyrics for the entirety of this episode?
I remember watching him on YouTube. Not YouTube, sorry. This is way before YouTube. On MTV. And he was like in Chinatown somewhere. And I was like, I'm watching Sean Paul doing stuff in Chinatown. Sean Paul. So yeah,
Paul.
Shouts out to Sean Paul. At one point was a pretty like big star, you know, and I liked his music. Y'all remember fucking Shark's Tale?
I was about to bring that shit up. Shark's Tale had that Sean Paul song, the verse in it, yeah.
And like the whole game had like a whole lot of like Sean Paul, if I remember correctly, Sean Paul renditions of Bob Marley songs.
Yeah, that's what it was.
It was like Bad Boys, what you gonna do, what you gonna do when they come for you. And then they were like, there must have been some other ones. That's the one that sticks out to me the most. I used to have that, I watched that movie so many times. It's such a trash-ass movie, but as a kid, I loved it.
Wait, hold on. Bad Boys isn't by...
Bob Marley?
No, that's not... I don't think that's...
I'm pretty sure it is.
I don't think it is. I'm Googling it right now.
I'd be surprised if it weren't.
Yeah, that song's by Inner Circle.
Oh, why did I think it was Bob Marley?
I don't know. But if you listen to it, it don't really be sounding like Bob Marley.
Wait, no. How old is that song?
1987. That's the Cops theme song.
Hold on.
Yeah. The song was originally released in 1987 on the album One Way and obtained minor airplay and poor sales. However, in 1992, it was also included in the Bad to the Bone album. And the song was released as a single in 93 after the unexpected success of their previously intentional hit single, Sweat. La 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 long.
How about Bob Marley's Bad Boys? When was that made?
There was a Bob Marley's Bad Boys?
There must be, bruh. I'm like being reserved and holding back because we're here like on the internet and everybody likes to scrutinize each other, but I'm like a huge Bob Marley fan and I grew up listening to that song. There's no way Bob Marley didn't make that song, didn't write that song originally.
Dude, no, that's it says Bob Marley on this one YouTube video.
I'm gonna put this on my mama, bruh. Like, hey guys, Rav here. Forgive me for my appearance. I just woke up about half an hour ago and although I am not wearing a red nose, I am most certainly a clown. Now, ordinarily, Bill edits the podcast episodes, and this one is no exception. But I wanted to listen back to it before uploading it today, and I got to this point of the podcast. Yeah. And wow. Zooey mama. Now, suffice to say, I am canceled. I mean, it was gonna happen sooner or later, right? And I really don't know what to say besides I'm sorry. I would like to apologize to you, all of you, the whole world for, you know. And I'd just like to thank you for your patience. I'm grateful that you've stuck around as long as you have, and I can't do this.
Okay, if you Google Bob Marley Bad Boys, there's no Wikipedia page for the song.
So what?
I don't know, man. If I put in, I don't think, especially not the Cops theme, because if I'm just listening to a bit of it and it doesn't sound like him at all.
I'm gonna kill. When I feel threatened, I just kill.
Yeah, it says like all the comments on all the YouTube videos of Bob Marley Bad Boys are like YouTube, where every reggae song is a Bob Marley song. I don't think it is, man. I don't think it's. I'm firmly believing that it's not a Bob Marley song.
My whole life, bruh.
But it's not like you're the only one, because I'm looking at like this forum right here, and it says my son likes the song Bad Boys and convinced it is Bob Marley.
Is it my dad?
But we have looked in the hit singles and can't find the title by him. And then someone says definitely was Bob Marley, and the other guy was like, you're thinking of Will Smith.
The two are easily confused.
I mean, now that I've listened to it, I could definitely see why someone would be like, oh, that's Bob Marley, especially the beginning, you know.
Can you just delete this whole part of me confusing Bob Marley for Inner Circle? Oh, no.
No, you gotta rock with it. We gotta leave with it, rock with it. We can cut it down and make it.
Can you cut down the parts where I was like, I'll put it on my mama?
Raph put it on his goddamn mama.
Hey, so I'd like to retract the whole bit where I was like, I'm confident I'll put that on my mama. So I'd like to not put that on my mama.
Put it on your like auntie.
I think what might have happened is like I've listened to a lot of Bob Marley in my life.
Yeah,
for sure. And maybe I had a playlist going or something, like a Bob Marley playlist where somehow that song made its way on there.
Yeah. I mean, you could have downloaded the song. There's a high probability that if you downloaded that song, that it was labeled Bob Marley.
Probably during the Bear Share and LimeWire days. I don't know. But either way, it was one of my least favorite Bob Marley songs anyway. It turns out it's not a Bob Marley song. So if anything, I'm happy.
What do you mean, dude? Bob Marley was killing it. He would say that.
He was doing shit like that. Suck my dick, Bill.
I know.
Look, I'm gonna say this to y'all, just to forget about this, forget this ever happened, and
never forget.
That's how the internet works, though, right?
Listen, you never forget 9/11. You never forget the Alamo. You never forget the day that Rav thought that the Cops theme song was sung by Bob Marley.
Shut up, Bill. You're my friend. But shut the hell your mouth.
Do you know that song "Bad to the Bone"?
Shut the fuck up.
Do you know that song though? Like, I'm asking you a question.
Yes,
do you know that
song? Yes. Roast me. Go ahead.
I just really appreciated it when I was a kid. I thought that shit was so cool because he was just like bad. And now I think it's the dumbest shit in the whole world.
Yo, okay, so for real, for those who are Bob Marley fans or aren't Bob Marley fans,
I'm trying to move on.
No, I feel like I did Bob Marley and his legacy dirty, and I feel real bad about it. I genuinely feel I'm going to punish myself later on in the day with all sorts of weaponry. But
oh my god!
Before that, I wanted to say y'all should look up Bob Marley acoustic, and there should be an acoustic guitar piece where I think it's 12 or 15 minutes long, and it's just him playing the guitar, and it's a medley of arguably his most famous songs. and it's like the most beautiful like thing ever. It's if sometimes when I struggle falling asleep, I listen to that because it puts me at ease and relaxes me. It's super chill. It's beautiful. It's touching, and yeah, I really appreciate Bob Marley's music. And also, it turns out I'm a horrible person because I couldn't distinguish.
Yeah. Honestly, you should just walk away from the podcast now. I didn't want to call you out, but if I didn't say it, then somebody would have freaked out.
You know, we could have cut it out, but Bill edits the podcast.
Dude, we can't alter history.
Well, I do that all the time with the Let's Plays, but I understand Bill's creative decision is his own. I'm a let him be, and so I just like
creative dissonance.
I would just like to say I've appreciated, the 44 episodes. 45 almost at this point. It would have been a full 45 if I stuck around for the rest of the podcast. Yeah. So I just wanted to say thank you guys for the ride. It's been a great journey. I'd like to thank the audience. I'd like to thank you, Bill, for your patience. And this has been good. I've enjoyed it. And stepping away from this with my head in my hands, I have nothing to say, but Will Smith is Bob Marley, maybe. And
we've been new, sis. We've been new.
So
Will Smith, I got a question to you about Will Smith. What would you give Will Smith like a scale of 1 to 10 as a rapper? What would you give him? Like a numerical value. Also, there's rain in the background because of the hurricane approaching. So I just want everyone to know I'm not editing that out. I'm leaving it in. So that's not just cute ambience. That's the sound of me about to die. So
I can't hear it, but I like to imagine
it's there.
Death is approaching. So
I can feel it.
So skill level, you mean? Like just skill wise? Before I walk away from this podcast, this is the last thing you want me to do?
Yeah, no, I just want you to not like necessarily skill level. I mean, like I don't like hear Will Smith like just hit like pummeling us with multisyllabics and like wordplay. I'm just saying, like as an artist, what would you give him? Like listenability.
Oh, listenability, 7.5.
Wow, what a terrible answer.
What about you?
I'm not going to answer this because this is a trap. Like, there's no right answer to this. I think that Will Smith as a person is like a 10 out of 10 person.
I wouldn't say so. I don't think anybody's a 10 out of 10. I'm sorry. I know if you are listening and you know who you guys are, if you're listening to this podcast, this episode, look, no disrespect. I just don't think anyone's a 10 out of 10 person. You know, but I'm sure he's a good guy.
Okay, well, what I'm getting at is like a 10 out of 10 person would be like the closest that you can be to perfection without being perfect. Then.
I can't vouch for that.
If we're not going to have a 10 out of 10, like then are we grading on a curve?
Okay, I would rate him quite highly. And
like a 9.9.8.
Bill, but you're kind of deflecting. What would you give his listenability, as you said, or whatever?
I like Will Smith. I like his music.
Yeah, me too. I gave it 7.5 for like that's a good thing.
I'd give it a 7.6.
You motherfucker.
Surely because it, like the price is right. Like, you know, when that person does that thing where they're like, oh, I'll bet $1, then they'll be like, I'll bet $2, and then so it just cancels out the person unless they get it completely right, you know. So it just rounds up. So that's what I just did to you. So 7.6. That's what I would give him.
Well, 7.5 is a very respectable score, and the only reason
not as respectful as a 7.6, but you know, it's fine.
Yeah, because you know, anyway, this is my legacy. Thank you guys for listening to this podcast as long as you have. I'll be on my way now.
Okay, I guess I'm just gonna take the reins on this while he's gone. So, yeah, man, I went down to the store the other day and saw a fella standing outside. He was like, hey, can I spare some money? Sorry. Hey. So I went to the store the other day and So I went to the store the other day and I sees a guy out there and he's just like, hey there, buddy, can you spare me some money? And I said, get out of here, you filthy homeless man. I just slapped him around and, you know, It was good. So I went to the store the other day, and I sees this guy out there, and he's just like, "Hey there, fella, can I get a little cash?" And I was just like, "Sure," because I am a 10 out of 10 person, and I do that. That's what happened.
Hey, I'm back. So the lawyers, they got in touch with me and told me that ever since I left, the podcast was sort of like not going so good. So they've paid me.
What lawyers, dude? What lawyers? We have lawyers?
Yeah, so they've paid me an undisclosed
alimony.
Yeah, that too. Amount of money to come here and rescue this operation. So
I see this guy outside the store the other day.
So yeah, I saw this guy the other day. I was like, "What's your name?" He's like, "Will." I'm like, "I'm gonna call you Bob." Anyway, Bill.
I got a joke for you, buddy. I got a joke. No. I have a joke for you before you steer this conversation into a direction that is not the joke. I want to talk about this joke. Okay? Are you ready? Mm-hmm. So a skeleton walks into a bar and says, "I'll take a pint of Guinness and a mop, please." So a skeleton walks into a bar and says, "I'll take a pint of Guinness and a mop, please." So a skeleton walks into a bar and says, "I'll take a pint of Guinness and a mop, please." So a skeleton walks into a bar and says, "I'll take a pint of Guinness and a mop, please."
That's good, dude. That's a good joke. Hey.
Thanks, man. Thanks. It was a little bit of a delay. It's a delayed reaction. I call it a sleeper cell.
What do you call a fake noodle?
I don't know, Rav. What do you call a fake noodle?
An impasta.
I don't get it. There's a little thunder on my end. Could you explain it?
What do you call a fake noodle? An impasta.
I think I'm starting to get there. I think I'm starting to pick up what you're putting down. So is it funny because the noodle is not real?
Yes.
And that's funny already. There's automatically the idea of like it being fake. Because like, why would you have like a fake noodle? That's it?
Yes.
That's the joke. That's the whole joke.
Yes. That's the only joke. But it's good though, right? Like it's fucking good.
Yeah, pretty solid, bro.
Subversive humor. I like it.
What was like? Do you remember like telling jokes, like any like really bad jokes you're told as a child? Mm-hmm. Like, or maybe you read on a popsicle stick or something, because there's a couple of them I still use. You know, do you remember any of those from your childhood?
I mean, there's like a few that I remembered like that, just being told different ones. Like the.
I mean, I got one. Oh, you go.
Oh, no. Tell me.
So, what dog can jump higher than a building?
Big, strong, powerful dog. I don't know.
That's it. That's the answer. No, it was any dog could jump higher than a building because buildings can't jump. What do you think, man?
I don't play soccer because I enjoy the sport. I'm just doing it for kicks.
I'm gonna rapid fire you some.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
What do you call a can opener that doesn't work?
Can't opener.
Well, that's really good, dude. What do you call a fish with no eyes?
Oh, I was right? Oh, nice. A fish.
God damn it. What do you get when you combine a rhetorical question and a joke?
This, what you just said.
Get it? Bad jokes don't even need a punchline to be funny.
That's
This
that's
is
the
good.
keeper. That's the one. That's the one. I want to tell my fiance the wedding is called off so I can propose to her again with that.
Hey! I sold my vacuum the other day, right? All it was doing was collecting dust.
Dude, did you hear about the kidnapping at school? It's fine. He woke up.
Yo! Did you hear about the guy who invented the knock knock joke?
What happened? No.
He won the Nobel Prize. Check out these jokes that sum up the history of the world.
You know, I've never gone to a gun range before, but I decided to give it a shot.
Oh, yo. Two windmills are standing in a wind farm. One asks, "What's your favorite type of music?" The other says, "I'm a big metal fan." Big metal fan.
To the man in the wheelchair that stole my camouflage jacket, you can't hide, but you can't run.
Excellent. Hey, knock knock.
What's up?
Knock knock.
Who they?
Two.
It was good too.
God fucking damn it. I think I'm just gonna end my life, bro.
To what? To who? Sorry. To you.
No, you messed it all up. Let's start this over. Knock knock.
Yes? To who? To whom?
To whom?
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
That's a good joke, bro.
Of course,
That's good.
dude. Hey, what do you call a fat psychic?
Oh, a fat psychic? I don't know. What do they call it?
A fortune teller.
Wow, that's ableist. A horse walks into a bar. Several of the patrons quickly get up and leave, realizing the potential danger of the situation.
Why did the little boy fall off the swing?
I don't know why.
He had no arms and also cancer. No, it's fitting that I believe the episode we talked about you potentially dying from a hurricane last year, I believe was exactly a year ago that we recorded it. And now there's another one about to come through and swoop you off your feet and woo you.
Yeah, it looks like it's been about a year. It's pretty fitting. It's actually probably gonna hit us. It looks like it's actually like, because last year it didn't really hit us, but this year it's looking like it's actually going to hit us tonight. So it's 11:46 a.m. right now, and it looks like nighttime outside. Like it's dark. So
That's tight.
It's yeah, so we're just hunkering down. It's actually supposed to be a mandatory evacuation here, but like no one leaves here because it's every time they do that, then it's not actually an evacuation. But I also have this like weird Majora's Mask feeling, you know? I have this like feeling like it's gonna be a little bit more gnarly.
So they told y'all to bounce and y'all were like, nah, boy cried wolf.
Well, they've been saying to bounce for the last like 5 years in a row, and then it'll be like literally like a thunderstorm.
So you think like, whatever, man. Worst case scenario, we fucking die.
Yeah, basically, the worst storm I ever sat through was, I think it was Hurricane Matthew. I think
This one's Dorian, right?
This one's Dorian, which is a way cooler name.
No disrespect to the Matthews out there. Matthew's a cool biblical name too.
Yeah, dude. Actually, all disrespect to every Matthew ever.
Yeah, fuck all our friends.
That ever existed. Lame. Why is it his name Dorian Watson?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Matt Watson. Yeah, we have like at least 4 Matt friends. So all of them could be Dorian.
do actually.
All of them should.
Dorian. Yeah,
be
change your
Dorians.
names, bro. Change all your names.
Hey, dude, I have another one to like lighten you up before, since it seems that you're
Before
sitting in
death.
the dark. I want you, before you die, I want you to die with some of like this funniness in your belly, you know?
Yeah.
A young man is a tourist in Tibet when his rented car breaks down. He looks for shelter for the night, and he comes across an enormous Tibetan monastery. He raps on the large wooden double doors, and the sound hollows through the enormous monastery like it were empty. He waits up to 15 minutes, ready to leave, when an old Tibetan monk opens. "My car broke down. Silly question, but do you have a phone I could borrow?" the man asks. The monk replies, "I regretfully inform you that we have no phone here. However, you are welcome to spend the night if you desire." The man takes the monk. The man takes the monk up on the offer. That night he hears an odd noise unlike anything he had ever heard before, like angels singing. The next morning, he asks the monk, "I heard strange noises last night. What was it?" The reply is, "I cannot tell you that because you are not a monk." The man thanks the monk and goes on his way. Years pass by and he thinks more and more about that singing. It wasn't like any human voice he had ever heard. It was driving him to madness, and he finally decides that he must know what that noise was. He quits his job and flies back to that Tibetan monastery. He declares that he is ready to become a monk, and he will do anything it takes. The monk states, "You must climb the highest mountain that you may learn endurance. You must then wade across the largest river that you may learn strength. You then must search the sands of the world for 2 grains that are the same, that you may learn patience." The man, determined, hikes up Mount Everest, learning the value of endurance. He wades the Nile, learning the value of strength. He spends the following 20 years searching beach to beach, looking for 2 grains of sand that are the same, learning the value of patience. He then returns to the monk monastery, weathered, and is a changed man. The old man, still years later, smiles and greets him. "I know you have passed the test, for only a monk can recognize another monk." And the monk invites him in as one of their own. The man, now older and wiser, asks, "I ask, my quest began with this noise, and now that I am a monk, I must know what is contained in that room." The monk bids him to follow. They approach a large wooden door, and the monk pulls out a large wooden key and opens the door. They enter a larger library with the secrets of old tomes and ancient texts taken from the great library of Alexandria. The monk approaches another larger steel door, and the monk pulls out a steel key and opens the door. They find stacks of silver bars stacked to the ceiling. The monk approaches another larger golden door, and the monk pulls out a golden key and opens it. They find priceless golden doubloons from a forgotten age of Atlantis, priceless paintings and artwork. The monk approaches yet another larger diamond door, and the monk pulls out a diamond-encrusted key and opens it. Light floods the room, and the man's eyes open wide as he finally sees the very object that he seeked. I'll tell you what it is, but you're not a Tibetan monk.
All right. That's good. That's a good joke. I got a joke for you.
Yes, please.
Okay, so man robs a bank.
Finally.
All right. He runs into the woods. And he gets away from the cops, takes his mask off, sheds his clothes, changes clothes, runs into the woods. Okay. And unrelated, same time, a child runs away from home, but he was planning on coming back home, but he got lost in the woods. Okay. Mm-hmm. So in the woods right now, we know there is a child and there is a bank robber somewhere in the woods, not interacting, just in the woods at the same time. Okay. Mm-hmm. Also, police officer is on the case. You know, the detective or whatever he is sees the woods that he ran into, and then he sees the clothes that the robber ditched. Okay. And so he says he went that way. Mm-hmm. Cop comes out there. He goes into the woods alone, and he gets lost in the woods. Robber, also lost in the woods. Child, also lost in the woods. Okay. So there is the child is running. He gets even more scared, starts running, starting to, like, sun's starting to go down. He sees a cabin. Okay. He knocks on the door. Old lady opens the door. And she says, this part's really important. Okay. She says, "Oh, hey, little boy, you look like you're lost." He's like, "Yes, ma'am, I'm lost." Says, "You can stay here the night. Don't worry, and we'll phone the proper authorities when in the morning. We'll get you back home." So she says, "I need you to stay. Pay attention now. The first door on the right down the hall." Okay. So kid goes, first door on the right down the hall. About 5 minutes later, she hears another knock at the door. Doo, doo, doo. Opens the door, and she sees the bank robber. Does not know he's a bank robber. He says, "Sorry, ma'am. Don't mean to intrude. I need a place to stay tonight. I got lost in the woods, but in the morning, I can figure out how to get home." She says, "Sure, no problem whatsoever. I need you to go. You can stay down the hall, second door on the right." So she takes him down the hall, second door on the right. He goes, retires for bed. About 2 or 3 minutes later, here's another doo 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 at the door. So she comes over, opens it up. It's the cop. Says, "Sorry, ma'am. I'm here on official police business. I've been looking for a bank robber. Have you seen anyone like that?" She says, "No, I don't think there's a bank robber here, And he's like, "Oh, actually, that's kind of embarrassing. I'm kind of lost right now, and I was wondering if I could stay in here for the night." And she says, "Yeah, no problem. We have another room down the hall, third door on the right." Remember that. Third door on the right down the hall. Okay, so he goes down there. She goes to sleep first door on the left down the hall. Okay, so morning breaks. They all leave from their rooms around the same time, and they all sit down at the table together. Now, the robber knows the cop is looking for him. The cop does not know that he is the robber. Okay. And so they're all sitting there eating dinner, or not eating dinner. Wow. So they're sitting there eating breakfast together. And she puts the bowls out. She says, "You guys cool with cereal?" Everybody nods. Okay. So she looks at the boy and says, "What do you want?" "I've got Fruit Loops and I've got Frosted Flakes." He says, "Well, I want those Fruit Loops. I love Fruit Loops." She's like, "I love Fruit Loops too." Pours it up, puts some milk in there, and he starts eating. She goes over to the cop and says, "Which one would you like?" He's like, "I like those Frosted Flakes." Pours up some Frosted Flakes, puts some milk in there. He starts eating. Goes over to the robber and says, "What would you like?" He's like, "You know what? I'm really feeling like some Fruit Loops." Pours that up, pours some milk in there. He starts eating. They all just eat and they just enjoy their cereal. Okay, so what, if you could take away one thing from the story, what do you think it would be?
Fruit Loops are a terrible choice.
Fruit Loops are objectively better.
Wait, was I like on the money with that?
Yeah, dude, Fruit Loops are objectively better than Frosted Flakes, and it says so because the joy of a child picked it first, and also the cop ate the Frosted Flakes.
Huh. Well, you see, it's funny because I said the Fruit Loops are a terrible choice.
Opposite.
Yeah.
You said the opposite of the truth. Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah, you are off.
Yeah.
Do you really think you would really pick Frosted Flakes over Fruit Loops?
I think so.
Get out of here, man. Get out. I don't know you.
Dude,
you're a fool.
You don't know me? I'm Bob Marley, bro.
Dude, this is gonna be a terrible look for you because you're gonna have all the Fruit Loop stands coming at your neck.
I would rather you keep the Fruit Loop stuff and remove all the Bob Marley shenanigans.
It's fine, dude. It'll be good. It'll be good. It'll be fine. It'll be dark. So, did you like the joke?
Yeah. Did you like mine? Which one did you like the most?
Honestly, man, my favorite joke that you've said this whole time is that Bob Marley did the Cops theme song.
You know what my favorite joke is?
What's that?
That the hurricane's not gonna hit your place.